Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm just coming here with a couple references for scripture on the topic of discipline. One of them is no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. But in time, the harvest of righteousness and the peacefulness of living righteous. I know there's the end, and I literally just read it before I came here. By those who have been trained by it. There we go. Hebrews 12, verse 11. Other scripture references that I have on my mind would be Proverbs, the scripture that tells us that the Lord loves us, therefore he gives us discipline. And also, if we don't discipline our children, we hate them, which is a hard reality. But it is true. I mean, if you think about the purpose of discipline, for starters, is to teach our kids the right way. So therefore, they can grow up and live a peaceful adulthood because they've been trained and taught how to do things the right way. I know for me, there are many things that I don't feel like I was prepared for or taught. And I won't really put that on my parents per se, because there's also discipline that talks about when you're unwilling to learn, to be trained, it's not good. So I, by default, was unwilling because, like I've said before, I suffered with a lot of anxiety over my childhood years, and it made it hard for me to take on teaching. But as an adult, and with very little anxiety now, a lot of surrender has had to go into that. In case you ever wondered why I don't have anxiety now, it's because I've learned that so much is out of our control. And I think I almost got to the point where I was like tired of dealing with the fear that anxiety caused. So I've made jokes in the past how I think I've overused my cortisol. Those stress hormones, I think I overused them, and I think that they're gone now, but I don't think that's actually how it works. But long story short, I'm in a state of understanding that so much is out of our control, and God is in control, and he's sovereign over everything. So if I'm with him, who can be against me, right? So long story short, on the matter of discipline, just to give you a little bit of courage that you're doing the right thing. It isn't pleasant to give or receive discipline. It's not pleasant. Every single time I have to discipline my kids, there's something in me that says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But I've seen, just in the small sampling of life as a mom, I've seen the fruit of what true loving discipline will do for your whole family. So I believe the scriptures when they say discipline is not pleasant, but it does reap a harvest of peace and righteousness as you live by it. I started this video before, and I'm not sure if I actually referenced the verse yet in this video, but that verse I just said was from Hebrews 12. And I totally cheated before I started. I looked up the verse that talked about it because I knew that there was a verse, but I didn't know where it was. And Hebrews 12:11 came up. So I totally cheated on that. I confess it. And on that note, don't be afraid to discipline your kids. Do it with love, though. And there is a difference, because when we're emotional and we're giving discipline, that's not good for anybody. Okay, so even if you need to step away for a few minutes and compose yourself, there's also scripture that talks about gentle answers turning away wrath. That is so true. I've known 100 times before, if you are doing something in anger, including disciplining your kids, you know you have to discipline. But the anger, the reactiveness, all of those things, those are not biblical responses to training and teaching your kids. And furthermore, that's what is being talked about when it says, fathers, don't exasperate your children to discouragement. there are many ways to speak that verse, but I truly believe that the root of it is, if you are disciplining your kids in an emotional state, it's not going to go well, and the message is going to get lost. So like I said, generally speaking, Midwest weather changes. This voice is obnoxious. I'm sorry. Do what you need to do to get yourself composed so that then you can go and discipline your kids, but doing it from a place of, I love you, this is why I'm disciplining you, versus, I can't believe you did that, I'm angry with you, and that's how you're going about your discipline. So there is a difference between the two. And furthermore, I just used this line this morning. I'm giving you consequences because I love you. It's a game changer when you realize the power of keeping yourself in control. You're modeling then to your kids also the fruit that comes from having self-control. And I think that they feel safer all around, and they're more willing then to receive the instructions. So it's kind of a two-way street. We want our kids to learn the right way. That's the baseline, the root. We need to know what that right way is. So staying in the Word and reading the Bible are your best friend when you're trying to figure out how and when to discipline. But then also pray about it. Pray that you can stay in control of yourself and that you're not disciplining emotionally. We all know that we've had times where the kids are pushing all the buttons, okay? Sometimes they need something. Maybe they just need your presence, So read the situation, observe the situation. If there actually is sin that's that's happening, by all means, discipline is necessary. But then take that next step to try and compose yourself before you discipline. So, I've really learned to kind of step back and observe what's actually going on. Not to give my kids excuses for how they're behaving, because a lot of times, certain behaviors, they need discipline every single time. But do yourself and your kids a favor and figure it out ahead of time, and then go in with your mind right, and then handle the situation with love, because our Father disciplines us with love. And that's our model. And it's a beautiful one. And it's perfect. And we're not going to be perfect when we're disciplining, but if we use God's perfect word and perfect ways to be our model and our guide, things go much better. Have a great day.